The schoolyard was alive with noise. Children ran in every direction. Their laughter rang against the walls, wild and unrestrained. Teachers shouted, clapping their hands, trying to control the chaos. But the storm of voices only grew louder. The bell rang. Its sharp sound echoed across the yard. But no one listened. Not a single child stopped. In the middle of it all stood Ryan. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't running. He stood still, fists clenched, eyes sharp and burning. There was anger in his stare. But behind the anger, there was something heavier. Loneliness. Ryan was known across Central High School, not for kindness, not for talent, but for breaking rules, for spoiling games, for destroying anything that others enjoyed. To the teachers, he was trouble. To the students, he was danger. But no one saw the truth. Ryan was not simply violent. He was broken. Years ago, his father had left. He promised to return. He never did. At home, the empty chair at the table remained, day after day. It became a silent reminder that Ryan was unwanted, unloved, forgotten. Every time he saw a father walking with his son, the wound inside him cut deeper. Every time he heard children talk about their parents, the ache twisted sharper. So he fought, not to win, but because pain was the only language he knew. In class, the teacher recited lines from an old poet. He spoke of exile, of loss, of the sorrow of being far from home. Most students laughed, whispering jokes, ignoring the meaning. But Ryan listened. Every word cut through him. Exile, loneliness, loss. He hid his feelings, but the words pierced his soul. Later, in the yard, a football game began. The ball rolled, cheers rose. For once, joy filled the air. Until Ryan stepped in. He grabbed the ball, held it high, and with one sharp motion, he slashed it. The ball deflated in his hands. The game died instantly. The laughter vanished. Anger filled its place. The boys shouted, surrounding him, "Punish him! Expel him! Throw him out!" The teachers argued. One shook his head. "Ryan is nothing but trouble. He doesn't deserve another chance." But another replied firmly, "No. He is just a child without a father. We cannot abandon him too." Their voices clashed, but no answer came. Far away, across the city of Brookfield, another life unfolded. Mr. Harris, a respected teacher, walked home through quiet streets. He opened the door to his small apartment. Inside was warmth. His wife greeted him with a smile. His son, Adam, his daughter, Diana. They sat together for dinner. The table was simple, the food modest, but the room was alive with laughter. Hope lived in their home. Mr. Harris looked at his children with pride. Adam studied at university, building dreams to lift the family higher. Diana was ambitious, determined, her eyes filled with promise. Though life was not easy, they lived with dignity. But fate does not wait. It strikes when least expected. At Riverside Sports Club, Adam found himself caught in a fight. Shouts filled the air, bodies clashed. Panic spread like fire. And then silence. Adam collapsed. His body trembled. His breath was shallow. His eyes closed. The ambulance siren tore through the night. Adam was rushed to the hospital. The family followed, fear gripping every step. At the hospital doors, the nightmare grew darker. The staff refused to treat him. not without payment first. Desperate, Adam's classmate Nicole stepped forward. Her hands shook as she removed her jewelry. Her bracelet, her necklace, her earrings. She placed them on the counter. "Take this," she begged. "Save him. Please." Her sacrifice opened the door to the operating room. Without her, Adam would have been left to die. Inside, doctors fought for his life. Outside, Mr. Harris pleaded with the staff. Since when does saving a life require money first? Since when has compassion been replaced by greed? Hours passed like years. Finally, the surgeon stepped out. The family rose at once. His words carried relief. Adam was alive. He would survive. But then the surgeon paused. He looked at Mr. Harris carefully. "Do you remember me?" he asked. "I was your student once. You taught me, and today I repay what I owe." With that, he canceled the hospital fees. The cost of saving Adam was not money, but gratitude. That night, the family gathered around Adam's bed. Tears of relief filled their eyes. They whispered thanks. But the story was not finished. The fight that had nearly killed Adam raised questions. Who attacked him? Why? And what did it mean for the days to come? The shadows outside the hospital grew long. The city of Brookfield slept, unaware. But beneath the silence, trouble moved. Unseen, waiting. Ryan sat alone in his room that night. The broken boy. The angry boy. The boy without a father. And somewhere, in the quiet corners of his mind, the threads of fate tied his life to Adam's. Threads neither boy could yet see. The days after the fight were heavy. At the sports club, whispers spread like wildfire. No one knew exactly what had happened. Some claimed Adam had been attacked by strangers. Others said it was students from a rival team. But no one was certain. At Central High, rumors mixed with fear. Ryan walked through the halls, shoulders stiff, eyes sharp. He said nothing. But people watched him. Some pointed fingers. Some whispered his name. Ryan was there. Ryan knows something. No proof, no evidence. Just shadows. The principal called Ryan into his office. The blinds were half closed, the air heavy. "Where were you that night?" Ryan's fists clenched. He wanted to shout, to throw the chair. But he didn't. He stared at the floor. "Home," he muttered. "Alone." The principal sighed. He didn't believe him, but he had no choice. No evidence meant no punishment. Ryan left the office, his jaw tight, his mind louder than the voices around him. At the hospital, Adam slowly recovered. Each breath felt like a victory, but his nights were restless. He dreamed of the fight, the faces, the hands pulling him down. And in those dreams, a shadow, a boy's face, cold eyes, burning anger. When he woke, sweat covered his skin, but the image stayed. Again and again, the same face. Nicole visited often. She sat by Adam's bed, her voice soft. "You'll be okay," she told him. "You'll get through this." But Adam's thoughts were elsewhere. Who were they? He asked her one night. Nicole hesitated. She lowered her eyes. I don't know." But she did. At least she suspected, and the name weighed heavy on her lips. Ryan. Meanwhile, Mr. Harris carried the burden of worry. He returned to work, standing before his students as though nothing had changed. But inside, he was restless. His son had nearly died. And the system, the very system he served as a teacher, had failed him. Hospitals demanding money before compassion. Schools ignoring broken children like Ryan. The city itself seemed blind. One evening, Mr. Harris walked home under the fading streetlights. The city of Brookfield was quiet, but in the shadows, he noticed movement. A figure sitting alone on the steps of an abandoned building. It was Ryan. For a moment, their eyes met. The broken boy, the weary teacher. Neither spoke, but in that silence, a strange connection sparked, as if fate itself had placed them on the same path. Mr. Harris walked on, his heart heavy. Ryan stayed behind, fists clenched, eyes burning. 2 lives, 2 families, bound by pain neither fully understood. Back at the hospital, Adam asked his father a question that froze him in place. Dad, what if the one who hurt me is someone like me? Someone from school? What if it wasn't just strangers? Mr. Harris hesitated. He wanted to protect his son, to shield him from suspicion. But deep inside, he already knew the answer, and he feared it more than anything. Weeks passed. The scars on Adam's body slowly began to heal, but the scars inside remained raw. He returned to university, walking more carefully, always glancing over his shoulder. The fight had changed him. Ryan, too, had changed. His silence grew darker, his anger sharper. He roamed the streets of Brookfield at night, avoiding home, avoiding school, carrying the weight of a past no one cared to understand. One cold evening, fate brought them together. Adam left the hospital for a late-night walk. The city was quiet, the streets lit only by flickering lamps. His steps echoed against the pavement. Then, from the shadows, another figure emerged. Ryan, their eyes locked. 2 paths crossing at last. Adam's voice broke the silence first. You were there. It was not a question. It was an accusation. Ryan's fists clenched. His breath quickened. He wanted to deny it, to walk away. But his voice betrayed him. And if I was? The words hung heavy in the night air. Adam stepped closer. His hands shook, but his voice grew stronger. Why, Ryan? Why me? I never hurt you. I never even spoke to you. Ryan's jaw tightened. His chest rose and fell with rage. You don't get it, he spat. You have everything. A father, a family, a future. Do you know what it's like to be nothing? To be left behind? Adam froze. For a moment, the anger inside him gave way to something else. Understanding. But then the memory of fists, of blood, of fear returned, and understanding turned to fury. You almost killed me, Adam whispered. You almost took everything from me. The street fell silent. Only their breaths filled the air. From across the road, a figure appeared. Mr. Harris. He had been searching for Adam, worried for his late walk. Now he stood frozen, watching the scene unfold. The weary teacher saw the boy who had once been his student, the boy no one had saved, the boy the system had failed. And he saw his own son, trembling, broken, but still alive. Two boys, two victims of a world that had abandoned them in different ways. One with too much pain, one with too much to lose. "Ryan," Mr. Harris called softly, but Ryan didn't move. His eyes stayed locked on Adam. A storm raged between them. Adam's fists clenched. Ryan's shoulders tensed. The city around them seemed to vanish. There was only this moment. This fragile, dangerous moment. Would Ryan strike again? Would Adam fight back? Or would something else happen instead? The night held its breath. The answer never came. Because sometimes the story doesn't end with victory or defeat. Sometimes it ends with silence. And the silence is heavier than words. The streetlights flickered. The shadows stretched. And as Brookfield slept, its two broken sons stood on the edge of a truth that neither was ready to face. The story was not finished. It had only begun.